Our lead this hour coming from the Diamond. Why not? Why not talk a little baseball? There's a few stories that popped up over the last couple days as we head to the midway point this week, the midway point of the month of June, which means we still have 10,000 more weeks of the baseball season, the never-ending journey. But that is where we will begin, the north side of Chicago, where Marcus Stroman has been dealing for the Cubs. Now, you wouldn't know that because the Cubs, who are not in last place, the Cardinals are in last place, but just above the Cardinals in the National League Central would be the Chicago Cubs. And by the end of the season, they will likely be behind the Cardinals when it's all said and done. But anyway, Marcus Stroman has pitched very well this season for Chicago. If you're a fantasy baseball nerd or if you're a degenerate gambler, chances are pretty good that you have noticed that. If not, possibly you have not noticed how effective he has been. And so he, over the weekend, did something that people generally put in the taboo category, and that would be airing dirty laundry. Now, as a gas bag and blowhard, I have never had a problem with athletes airing dirty laundry. In fact, it kind of keeps the business we do here alive and well. And so get to the point, please, as Marcus Stroman went into the town square and put all of his dirty underwear up, all the Cubs' dirty underwear, and he hung it right there in the town square for everyone to see. Stroman went on a social media diatribe, Marcus Stroman, in which he said that his agent and himself have contacted the ball club. They've approached the Cubs and said, hey, we really like it here. We would like a whole big truck full of money to stay here. We want a lot of that Cub money, and we want to keep pitching for you. Of course, pay us. And we want an extension. His contract, there's a player option which he will activate and become a free agent at the end of the year. So every time Marcus Stroman has contacted the Cubs have been unavailable, right? They've been unavailable. It's the classic don't call us, we'll call you situation. That is how that has gone down so far. So let us discuss the question. We'll start with this. How do you explain the Cubs rejecting by far and away what has been their top starting pitcher in a contract extension with Marcus Stroman? How do you explain that? So I've got itinerary, Puff the Magic Dragon, and OMS. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a long winning streak, something the Cubs likely will not have the rest of the season, a long winning streak. So, number one. All right, we begin with Marcus Stroman, who has been wonderful for the Cubs. He is a nice oasis in a sea of poo for the Chicago Cubs. Now, there have been a few other guys that have done okay on the mound, but the Cubs are not a good baseball team, and they've gotten progressively worse as things have gone on here, and we're only in the month of June. So, with that said, this guy's pitching lights out. He wants to stay with the Cubs. He likes being a Cub, and he must love day baseball. Loves it there on the north side. Unfortunately, we do not have a love connection. It takes two to tango. There is no love connection between Stroman and the Cubs, and the reason why the Cubs are not willing to get into a commitment. They would rather have a nice summer of love, and they'd like that to end around August 1st is what they would like, because here's the problem. If you look at the itinerary of the Chicago Cubs and the itinerary of Marcus Stroman, it does not add up. It does not. Stroman would like to win the Illinois lottery, and wouldn't we all like to win the Illinois lottery? The Cubs are very content being a bag of suck. They're okay with that. The ownership in Chicago, they know they'll sell a bunch of beer. People will go to Wrigley Field no matter what. It's been proven over the years. And so the Cubs, it's as clear as day, are perfectly fine treading water for several more years because they are not in the winning business. They're in the make a lot of money without winning business. They are content to tread water in the land of mediocrity. And they're waiting around for the next crop of cheap talent to harvest in the major leagues. That's what they're waiting for. And if you look at the timeline, Marcus Stroman, who's 32 years old, which means if you sign him to, let's say, a 5-year or 4-year extension, which is likely what he would want, he will then be tied up with you until he's 36 or 37, which, oh, by the way, is the next window 4 or 5 years from now when the Cubs will actually field a competitive team. So, doesn't work. Plus, the Cubs are already planning on trading his ass out of Chicago. The trade deadline is August 1st. They moved it a day from July 31st, which it used to be, to August 1st. So August 1st is the trade deadline. The Cubs will trade him and get some other cheaper pitchers, and they figure, hey, we're not trying to win. We could put Joe Blow on the mound, and it doesn't matter. The same number of people will show up to watch Cub baseball. So 85% of the world's working. The other 15% come out here. So playground for the blank blanks. All right, now page 2 here. Let's go over to Cincinnati, another National League Central Division team, the Cincinnati Reds, because their hotshot rookie, Elly De La Cruz, a name of a star. Reds playing the Cardinals over the weekend, and he has popped up on the scene in a large way, Elly De La Cruz, over the weekend. In a win against the Cardinals, the 21-year-old went turbo time. He went turbo-tastic is what he did. Now, De La Cruz, keeping the good vibrations going after that opening against the Dodgers, where the Reds celebrated their World Series win by winning back-to-back against the Dodgers. So he ended the game. This was on Saturday. He had the RBI, stolen base, and an explosion base running, showing how fast, how athletic Elly De La Cruz can be. He blew past the third base coach who was saying, stop, don't, but right past him. And he scored, and then afterwards declared himself as the fastest man in the world. I am the fastest man in the world. In my case, at bloviating, but in his case, at actually running the bases. And so that, of course, created a story. People were, oh, man, this guy's so fast. And De La Cruz ended up going around the bases in 11.4 seconds. He needed only 3.1 seconds to go from third to home. And in doing so, he says, hey, I'm the fastest man in the world. So what do you make of the Reds rookie Elly De La Cruz saying he's the fastest man in the world? So he is obviously enjoying this. Good for him. He's soaking it all in. But be careful, because when you soak it all in, sometimes it becomes like a bowl of cereal, and it gets a little soggy after a while. So you got to be careful. There's a fine line. You got to walk the line, if you will, when it comes to this. But if you look at De La Cruz, he's going puff the magic dragon is what he's doing. He's puffing up his legend, the bombastic rhetoric. We're all for it. Now, De La Cruz, his average speed, they've got a stat for everything, the nerds over at baseball. De La Cruz's average speed in that base running expedition over the weekend was 30.8 feet per second, which is just a touch faster than the Royals phenom of earlier on, the Bobby Witt Jr. experience in Kansas City, whose time was 30.4 feet per second. That led all qualifiers there. So Bobby Witt Jr., by the way, did not get too much excessive coverage anymore, but when he first popped onto the scene, which was a few months back, you would have thought this guy was the next great Royals player since George Brett or any of those guys that played in the mid-2010s, any of those cats that was on that last World Series team. But the Royals, who are absolute manure, so no one's talking about Bobby Witt, who, by the way, is batting a nice, robust .235, on pace for 25 home runs and 70 RBIs with a dreadful Royals team. Not the stuff legends are made of. And De La Cruz, though, flying around the bases with the wind behind his sails there, just pushing him along there and going Sonic the Hedgehog. And nice to see. But the Reds are going to have to win some games here, or people are going to treat him like Bobby Witt Jr. I know they beat the Dodgers, they played the Cardinals, everything will be okay. Everything will be great. Nothing to see here. All right, we'll find out. All right, last and final part of this baseball-themed Maller monologue. We stop in the Boogie Down Bronx. Are we going to break down the Yankees and the Red Sox No, we are not going to break down the Yankees and the Red Sox. We are not. But we are going to talk about John Sterling, the Yankee play-by-play guy, John Sterling, who went viral this weekend. Now, what did John Sterling do? The longtime radio voice of the New York Yankees in the broadcast booth there in the Bronx with 7,000 sponsors. So it's late in the game on Saturday. The Yankees are playing the Red Sox, and ex-Dodger Justin Turner is at bat. He fouls a ball directly back. It travels all the way back to the broadcast booth at Yankee Stadium, and kerplunk, it hits the head of John Sterling as he's doing the play-by-play. There's video which has gone viral on the internet, but just to give you the blow-by-blow, here's what it sounded like, John Sterling at the mic.
Now the 3-2 swung on, a pop foul back here.
Oh!
Ow! It really hit me. I didn't know it was coming back that far. So once again, it'll be a 3-2. And Holmes ready to deal. A ground ball to third. Donaldson squares, throws to first in time. Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Oh, it's so good.
I've never actually seen him do the call.
The video is amazing. The video's gone viral. It's been seen millions of times. I do recommend it if you're blind. I don't know. It's amazing. It's just he's there, and then it ricocheted and then hit him right in the head. Anyway, so how crazy was it? There's the question on this one. How crazy was it to watch Yankee broadcaster John Sterling get dinged with a foul ball and not miss a beat other than saying, ow, ow? Other than that, it was wacky. It was wacky goodness is the way I will describe it now. Now, Sterling, he's not a friend. I don't know John Sterling other than a casual. I call him up once every couple of years and say, hey, John, will you come on my podcast? And he says, sure, I'll do it, whatever you want. And he always does it. He's never said no to that. Whenever I've asked him for anything, he's always been very kind to me. And we've only chatted a few times over the years, and he is a debonair showman as a broadcaster, right? All the bull crap and all the razzmatazz. I'm a big fan of John Sterling, the nonsense of John Sterling. But his advice, as I've had him on the podcast over the years, his advice to me has always been the most important thing is you got to sell the soap. That's the most important thing. You got to sell the soap. And here's the thing, though. This is so embarrassing for Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is 31 years old, okay? This guy is in the prime of his career. He is facing a standing 8 count because of the gate at Dodger Stadium. He's likely out a month. John Sterling, God love him, is 84 years old. He got hit right in the face, right in the head with a foul ball, doesn't miss a pitch. He's calling the play-by-play. This guy's tougher than Aaron Judge. Think about that. Now, why is he tougher than Aaron Judge? I know why. 3 letters, okay? 3 letters here, OMS. You know what that is? Old man strength. John Sterling is of the generation. Just rub some dirt on it. That's it. Just rub some dirt on it. Keep on going.